Today we are embarking on a topic which is very dear to me. It's called Ganapati Upanishad. It is found in the concluding portion of Atharva Veda, and this is one of the most secular of the four Vedas that we have. It deals with a lot of worldly matters and issues in the manner and to the extent which is not addressed in other three Vedas, Rigveda, Samaveda, and Shukla and Krishna Yajurveda. Even then, it contains some of the profound Upanishads, including the present one which is close to me, and other important powerful Upanishads like Mundak, Mandukya, Prashna, etc. Ganapati Upanishad is not considered as a major Upanishad only because it was not discussed by Adi Shankaracharya. I do enjoy the Upanishads that he commented upon. However, I find this particular Upanishad closest to my heart. That's only because it is so profound and comes directly from the author's heart. If you remember, I mentioned that it was not considered as a major Upanishad because Adi Shankaracharya did not write a commentary. At the same time, we have to take into consideration during his short lifespan of 39 years, he made some major changes in the manner in which the community practice their spiritual way of living. There are some people who practice Shaivism, following only Shiva. Some practice Vaishnavism, following only Vishnu and the incarnations. And each one of them were fanatic on their own sects. He recognized that Brahman was just a original entity and all other things are Ishwaras. And he created a special conglomerate of 5 express divinities. He called Panchayatana. Pancha means 5. And of those 5 were, of course, Vishnu, of course, Shiva Shankara. But the other 3 entities was, most importantly, he put Devi there, the goddess. The other 2 he put was Ganesha, and he also put the Surya, the sun god. So one of the most important entity for you human beings or entire world is the sun. That's the solar system. So that's why he there. Ganesha, because he respected that particular divine formational expression, one of the most powerful one. And I'll tell you the connections as we go along. Now, we've been singing and chanting these mantras every year at the time of Ganesh Chaturthi, Bhadrapad Shuddha Chaturthi. And I have been doing it on a daily basis since I was 10 years of age. I've had the privilege to discuss it many times in the temple, but unfortunately, the time was allotted during those celebrations, and of course, naturally, it was very limited. Through these discussions on Sunday, in the next 4 Sundays, or whenever my turns are, I plan to do a detailed overview. Hopefully, we'll complete that before the academic year ends in June. Why did I select on this day, Arun? I know it's cold outside, but I knew it was one of the auspicious days in this time period. The year is called, Samvatsara calls Hemalambi. The month is Magha. Today is the second fortnight, Krishna, and it's Chaturthi. On that particular day is favorite of Lord Ganesha, what we call Sankashta Chaturthi. So typically that's one of the auspicious days for Ganesha. And I said, we'll do that, and we talked last night. I said, roads will be fine, that's all that matters. There is also a Ravi Hasta Amruta Siddhi Yoga today, starting from this point onwards. The important days you might remember is coming week on Friday on 9th is the Ramdas Navami. Those people who know Ramdas, the advisor to Shivaji who protected Hinduism of his times, he was born on this coming Friday. And today and tomorrow are extremely auspicious, and that's the reason why I suggested we start today. Now, who wrote this Upanishad? You don't have to take the notes, but I'll send the notes anyways. Atharvana is the name of the Rishi. Atharvana. He has written major portions of the Atharva Veda itself, and that's why this Veda is known after him as Atharva Veda. He also goes by a couple of other names. He's also known as Angir. He's also known as Ganaka. But again, you cannot really appreciate the power of the language Sanskrit unless you really dissect it. Dissection is no problem for doctors. And so you have to dissect it by breaking Atharvana. The way you break is na tharvati iti atharvana. Na tharvati iti atharvana. Meaning one who has no vacillation of mind, one with a steady mind, one who has a clarity of vision. That is the kind of person he was. He is also recognized for creating sacred mantras when sung along with certain wooden sticks of certain kinds. When they are rubbed against each other, the fire would start in the forest when they didn't have the lighters or matchboxes at that time. So he's also known for that, of the many other things that he has done. Again, why I find it so powerful? Because it's powerful. Kumud hai na? Kumud. Ganapatya Upanishad is so powerful because it deals with upasana or prayers or devotional expressions, as well as it teaches about Brahman, the ultimate reality. So it's not pure dry, like learning only about Brahman, but also talks about the devotional aspect. And that's the beauty of it. Comes from Now, in this particular Upanishad, there are only 14 verses, 14 mantras, only 14. The first 6 are dedicated to the description of Ganapati, but that description is called Nirguna, that means one without any attributes. The 7th mantra details Ganesha Vidya. What is Ganesha Vidya? We'll talk about it. Vidya means knowledge, wisdom. The 8th mantra of this particular Upanishad is known as Ganesh Gayatri. Every divine expression has a Gayatri. People get confused. How can you be Gayatri person? Vishnu Gayatri, Shiva Gayatri. Good? Ganesh Gayatri. Gayatri is a meter, singing way of singing it. It's popular against in the sacred scriptures. And it is in that particular meter, when the prayers are written and sung, then is known after that particular deity. So 8th mantra is Ganesh Gayatri. 9th mantra, he describes him in a manifest form, saguna sakara roop. That means one with the attributes, how he looks, that is described in that particular mantra. The 10th mantra is the heartfelt prayer to Lord Ganesha, Ganapati. And 11 to 14, again, is the concluding portion, basically tells what the benefit is there in the long run by singing these important mantras. Only 14 mantras. Until everyone here understands the truth of the self, every individual sitting here, in reality, is complete, whole, not fragmented. And that there is no other entity except us. The person in his life is insecure, he's afraid. Sanskrit word is dvitiyat bhayam. If there's somebody else besides you, unless you know him or her, you'd be afraid. Even if you're living in a not too good a place, but you have been living there for a long time, you've got to know the people. For example, when we had the privilege to start the children's hospital in 72, we didn't have a parking lot. I would park the car next to the footpath next to the children's hospital. And there were people who were poor, people who were drug dealers. They knew we were doctors. They said, well, give me some money. And I said, we are in a privileged position that they want money. I don't have time to teach him to give up drugs. If he needs it, here's some money, that's fine. They never treated it with any physical harm whatsoever. But I never felt uncomfortable they around me, because it was a bad neighborhood. And again, it was built in bad neighborhood because we wanted to make the community, poor community, who could not drive because they don't have cars, we wanted those children to have place of patient care. Initial place that was given was in Edina, where the Fairview Southern Hospital stands. It's a long story, but I won't bore with you that. But if you go to a different town, and even if you go in a posh area, walking on the footpath at night time, you're afraid. You're afraid because these people we don't know. At the same time, my teachers always told me is that never be afraid. It's amazing when you walk through. You'll surprise people who treat you with respect. Don't do anything to harm them anyway. So because as you'll understand some of the mantras, there is a sarva bhutatma bhutatma attitude. You're not afraid at home because everybody is connected to you in some way or the other. Doesn't matter where you live. But once you realize that the other beings are an integral part of you, in reality as we go down we'll see there is nothing separate. I think we are mistakenly identifying as separate. We are entirely exactly the same. Since there is nobody else besides us, what is there to be afraid of? So, dvitiyat bhayam. So, atma va idam sarvam. That means we have to understand this atma is idam sarvam. This particular atman is all there is, because atman is the same as the Brahman that permeates through the entire creation. And what has happened is because we have forgotten this fact, we act in a way we do. For example, somebody was arguing last Sunday about how can Gita be used when it's told on the battlefield. The poets, the scholars use different canvas to draw different pictures, but the message is the same. Upanishads are exactly the same. Every teacher, depending upon his time and his thoughts on that particular day, will draw a picture, draw a particular mantra based upon his vision on that particular day. But vision is exactly the same. Tat Tvamasi, you're nothing different than that. For example, coming back to losing the memory, if you see it in the 18th chapter towards the end, I think 62, 63 or something, Arjuna tells Krishna, Nashto moha smrutir labdha karishye vachanam tava. My delusion is gone, Nashto moha. Smruti labdha. Memory has come back. Karishye vachanam tava. Now that is what you are taught, it makes sense. I'm going to do exactly the same way. So that's the good teacher. Teacher doesn't give you the answer, but instead gives you the technique by means of which, when the teacher is gone, you can make the diagnosis and treatment. So that's what exactly the Upanishads are as far as the teaching is concerned. Now, in order to be successful in life, but why do you want all these projects and works to be done? Because we feel ourselves insecure. Because we think we are missing something. So maybe if I get a bigger house, I might be happy, and then you buy a big house. Maybe if I get big money, by getting a particular job, but let me do this. But it's a slow process of learning. But when that process of project, finishing a new project that you want to do, pursue a particular mission, what you want to do is, obviously you want to succeed. So basically, there are certain values that are needed. Say, udyamam sahasam dhairyam buddhi shakti parakramaha shadete yatra vartante devaha tatra sahayakrit. So all this hard work, bravery, willingness to face the obstacles, intelligence, strength, willingness to bring the resources of yours or from any other causes. And all those things are needed. But even then, at that time what you need the help of God. Of course, people ask, if God is good and is present all the time, how come He doesn't take care of, doesn't help me when I need it? You see, when you come to Lake Minnetonka where we live and try to use a sailboat to go from one side to another, the breeze is always blowing. But you still have to navigate, use that breeze properly to make sure it becomes positive for you. So it's always blowing to help you. Sunlight is always giving us the light or wisdom. But if you are in a darkened room with closed drapes, which happen to be dark, and complain that there is no light in my room, of course sun is at fault, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. You have to do the prayers. So you basically start doing the prayers. And obviously, since most human beings are incapable of praying to a deity which is not expressed, you tend to pray to a deity which is close to your heart, called Ishta, favorite Devata. So he do the prayers to that particular form, because you feel connected. First thing you, as soon as you get hurt, you ask, Mom, because she is the closest to you, Ishta Devata. And specialty about Ganapati is, he is able to protect you from obstacles which are about to come, prevent you from any calamities, take away all the grief, and bring you the happiness. Marathi, Sukha Karta, Dukha Harta. You see what I mean? So he is able to prevent any obstacles from coming. But again, it requires a prayer from the bottom of your heart. So that's where the specialty and relationship between Ganapati and myself is. But of course, the main purpose of this Upanishad is beyond securing the mundane things in life to feel yourself complete, getting a new car, buying a new house, big home. By singing this Upanishad with intense devotion, after gaining full knowledge and wisdom, which is recorded in that, the devotee can purify his mind, get the clarity of vision, clarity of spiritual vision, and then only the memory of your true nature can be jogged out by a living guru who has been enlightened to the traditions of teachers, starting with Sadashiva Samarambhat, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmat Acharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Starting with God, Sadashiva, in between is Shankaracharya, till the time my Guru. Why do we need a living Guru? I've been reading this book since I was 7 years of age in the school. The words are the same, singing is the same, but meaning is different because the Guru, when you connect with him or her, he is able to see where you're coming from, what misunderstandings you have created, what holes you have dug yourself. So he is able to see where your background, your preconceived notions. So he is able to give you the treatment based upon what your needs are. The books cannot give you. It gives you information. At the same time, there is not interactive learning as you would have from a living guru. So I think it's something to remember. Now let's sing the first words that is all I'm going to discuss today. I want you to pronounce exactly the way it should be sung. It's Vedic mantra. Om Namaste Ganapataye. Om Namaste Ganapataye. Tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. Tvameva kevalam kartasi. Tvameva kevalam dartasi. Tvameva kevalam hartasi. Tvameva sarvam khalvidam brahmasi. Tvam sakshadatmasi nityam. Om Namaste Ganapate Tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. Tvameva kevalam kartasi. Tvameva kevalam dartasi. Tvameva kevalam hartasi. Tvameva sarvam khalvidam brahmasi. Tvam sakshadatmasi nityam rutam. That's the second verse. But that's all we're going to discuss today. The first word, if you saw, was Om. There is a 8-page article here which I'm not going to discuss. But I'll give 2-3 highlights, something to carry on with. Om is derived from the Sanskrit root called Ava, A-V-A, which means protection, to protect, Rakshanam, Ava. It also is sustenance. Basically, protection and sustenance. What are you talking about? The one who is able to protect is our man. Example? Buddhiman. Dhanavan. One with wealth, with that Dhanavan. One who has intellect and along with it called Buddhiman. So basically the same one is our man, in this case, one who is able to protect. But then what happens? For that you have to come to Sanskrit class grammar. One who protects and sustains the entire creation by lending his existence and consciousness. That's our man. By Sanskrit grammar rules, the suffix man becomes our man, loses the last vowel, so it becomes avam. And avam by vocalization process, wa becomes u, and further a and u combine to form a diphthong called au, yielding the word om. So that's how the our one becomes om from Sanskrit rules. Now Shankaracharya in the Mandukya Karika before he starts the discussion commentary on Mandukya Upanishad, he says Om, as he describes, represents the entire universe. All time and what is beyond time. Because it is not limited by time, because it is not limited by dimension of form or time. So it is way beyond it. And in reality, that Om is our essential nature through which four states of waking, dream, sleep and turiya, which are in four quarters, from it all time arises. From it, all the time that arises that we see, starting with the movement in the life. The four aspects are naturalized, symbolize Agni, which is the flame of life, in our case for human beings, is prana, breath, air breath, and that's your pranayama that you teach. Mandukya Upanishad further explains, Om means A, standing for Adi, means beginning. Utkarsha, that means progress through sustenance, stands for U. And Miti means resolution, leading towards recreation, starting with M. Thus Om means God who creates, sustains and resolves. And I won't bore you, but again there is a mantra called, it says, matra is akaraha, ukaraha, makaraha. It's an 8th mantra from the Mandukya Upanishad. Couple more things about Om. Now, if you close your gutter, throat, and you try to make a noise, the noise that comes out is if you pucker up your mouth, from the back of the throat comes ooh. When you touch the lips and make the sound become m, coming from out here, coming from the lips. So when we are talking about Om, it's a combination of entire languages. Doesn't matter what language it is, all of them are included in that word Om. It's called Nada Brahman. Also described in the scriptures is in the beginning Om was the only sound that existed. And of course that corresponds to the Big Bang theory that the recent scientists have been talking about. So there are many other ways in which you can explain it. Entire Mundaka Upanishad is also based upon that. The other one which is basically is awake state, where when you're walking, U is basically the dream stage, M is the deep stage. And when you get up in the morning and somebody else like me asking, did you sleep well last night? And somebody says, yeah, I slept very well. If you really slept well, how would you know that you slept well? And at that time, only thing that existed in you was awareness. That's the Brahman, that's the Atman. So when you're awake, you get confused with so many things around you. When you're dreaming, you are seeing what your projected images are based upon your daytime experiences, now and the now of past life experiences. Or finally, in the deep state, you have nothing but quiet M. But then, at that time, only thing who is observing it is your awareness. So basically, these are the ways. That's how Om comes at the same time. Now, Namaste Ganapataye. Namaste is Ganapataye, my prostration unto Lord Ganapati. The word Namaha, meaning bowing the head in devotion in front of the altar of the God. Whatever, doesn't matter what God is. On the part of the devotee who is expressing it in its etymological meaning of Nama, it really means Name. Na maha. Mayam me ma avayo no asmakam na. So basically, me means this is not mine. Na mama. It's not mine. That means what he is saying, in reality, nothing really belongs to me. Even my body doesn't belong to me. It's all yours. In that humility, you're saying there is namaha, name, name. Now, singing it over and over again, nama, nama, puna, puna, is because basically to show the expressive humility and emphasize the important fact that you do understand it. Because when I was singing as a youngster, I did not quite understand it. But I do now. Now, Lord alone, whatever name you want to call it, has manifested as 5 great elements. What are those 5 great elements?
Air, fire, water, earth, and...
Perfect. Wonderful. Called Pancha Mahabhutas, and they are space, wind, fire, water, and earth. Just as you rightly said, Akasha, Vayu, Teja, Apa, Prithvi. These are the fundamental building blocks of both the sentient and insentient or animate or inanimate objects that we see around. Our body in reality is nothing but these 5 elements into which Lord has manifested in different proportions, making us as individuals. It is this understanding and conviction with which we should be saying Namaha, 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 because nothing is mine. It's come directly from God, from Pancha Mahabhutas. The last name that is used here is Ganapati. Of course, in our philosophy, ultimate reality really has no form, no specific attributes. No form is nir-akara. Akara means shape, form. Gunam is attributes. So really, the divinity which permeates through the entire creation that we see here, what form can you call? What name can you give? And what attributes can you describe? It is purely nothing but divinity. Hence the devotee can worship him in any form of his choice. Called personal God, or Ishta Devata, and he creates his own way, Sakar, make shape that you like, or Saguna, give the attributes that you want. And of course, each personal God that we pray here in the temple, as some kind of story in Puranas, goes along with it, and the attributes and the stories go along with it. If you remember the story where there was a rich man who would milk the cows and come to the temple and pour that milk over the Shivalinga, like we do the Abhishek in the temple. And then this little boy who was working at his place, helping him milk the cows and helping other chores around the house, came from a poor family. He said, "Why do you do that, sir?" He said, "Because when I do that with devotion, God gives me some more thing which I need. Whatever you need, God will give you if you keep offering them." So what he did was, the little boy, he would milk the cows in the morning, keep 1 glass of milk with him, not to steal to eat, drink himself. But he found a small stone from the yard and keep on pouring on it every day. And the master realized that for some reason the milk was not the same quantity it used to be. He didn't accuse him of it, but observed what this boy was doing quiet. And he noticed that he was not stealing to drinking for any other reason, except having heard from the master that a devotional acts with offerings made give you positive outcome, this boy is doing it. And obviously he adopted him, made him a part of the family. What I'm trying to say is that you can say the words or you can perform the actions. And when you are able to help other people to follow your actions, I think you are a good teacher. And that's what he succeeded in doing. So it doesn't matter what form you use. That's why if you drive around in Indian countryside, in a little nook and corner, you'll see the deity created. As a matter of fact, I was hoping that Prasad, the Bastorkar, will come today because I was with him last Saturday. And I was sitting there and sitting in his living room near the fireplace, and I could see on the fireplace Ganesha's image on the rocks that were planted there. And he said, "You are the second one to notice it too." Because what I'm trying to say is that there is a similarity where certain rock formations do have that particular shape, but again you have to see it to appreciate it. For example, a story goes like this where friends go out for a walk, and one of the friends, adult of course, he said, "You know what? Let's take that big stone in the back of the truck, what is a GM truck, whatever it is. I want to take it home for my garage. I want to work on it." The friend said, "What are you talking about, crazy guy?" Okay, but friends are friends. So they brought it in the garage and kept it. 6 months later they asked, "What has happened to that stone, by the way, you brought?" And he said, "Come inside the garage." What he had done, who had carved out a beautiful sculpture of Sri Krishna out of that rock, granite. So he was able to see with his own eyes the image of Sri Krishna, and that's what I want to bring home and make a complete project. So what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what form you use it, as long as you recognize it. Unfortunately, we tend to take ourselves as limited, but Sri Krishna says in Gita, "Mamai vaushe jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana." The individual in this world of individuals is indeed eternal and is part of me alone. For example, if you remember the discussion of Hanuman, who was asked by Rama to teach him his brother Lakshmana, what is the relationship between brothers or disciple and teacher. So Hanuman said, who am I? So he said, Jiva buddhyatu dasoham. At the level of correction. Deva buddhyatu dasoham. At the physical body level, I am your devotee, I am your servant. Dasoham. Jiva buddhyatu daushaka. At the level of jiva, I am a small fragment of you, or like a little spullinga we call it, a spark from the big fire. But Atma Buddhyatu Tvam Tvameva Aham. Tvam Eva Aham. At the level of the divinity, at the level of the Atman, I am no different than you are. So that's the relationship between human beings or any living entities and the cosmic consciousness. So what I'm saying from the practical point of view for human beings, worshipping the form which has a specific form that you can identify with, you're able to do the puja prayers much more effectively. That's why we come to the temple. Who is this Ganapati? The creative faculty or the infinite power of the Lord is Shakti. The Lord is called Shiva, the auspicious, since Lord alone can be sacred and auspicious. And Ganapati is the offspring of Shiva and Shakti, a combination of attributeless Brahman or ultimate power and the origin of the entire creation. So that's why Ganapati has a special relationship with the entire creation. This Ganapati is Saguna with attributes and a specific form, and Brahman, as we go through the mantras, we'll be able to understand it. But what does the meaning of Ganapati mean? It means it's a god of groups. Gana, Pati. What is Gana in Sanskrit? Group, flock, troop, associations, class. So Pati means master. Ganapati of groups. Now, so each group is called Gana. This is a healthy attitude to remain in the community. That's why we're happy to come to the community center. That's why I come to the temple. Go to a place of worship. Now, these groups apply for gods, human beings, and all other life forms. All birds of the same feather gathered together. But all these groups exist in the same single supreme reality, the Brahman. That's why it's called Ganapati, the supreme lord of the Ganas. The same concept is described in Taittiriya Samhita when we sing a mantra called Gananam Tvam Ganapati Maha. I won't bore you with that. Because every prayer ritual that we perform, we invite Ganapati to stand first and continue the prayer. So if no ritual is completed, unless Lord Ganesha is present at that time. That's why it's one of the favorite ones. The gods exist in groups. Vasus constitute a group of 8. Rudras are 11. Vasudeva is one of those 8 Vasus. Rudranam Shankarashtrapi. If you see the Vibhuti Yoga in the 10th chapter, you'll find the highlights from each of the groups has been, the captains of those teams have been announced. So Vasu's is captain is Vishnu. Rudranam Shankarosas. So Shankara. So Rudras have 11 group. Adityas have 12. Ashwinis have 2. Maruts have group of 7. But each group is subdivided into 7 subgroups, making 49. Sunlight is a composition of 7 different colors. The galaxies exist in clusters. Planets constitute a system. At micro level, atoms get together to form molecules, which in turn have a tertiary structure to form their own associations. Really, there are no independent entities at all. They are only systems, groups, and clusters. It is known that man is known as a social animal. People come together in the kinds of groupings based upon the religion, race, geographic origin, and professions. People say no man is an island. And Swami Tattvavidananda, your favorite guru, or Guru Bandhu, or teachers are the same, substitutes the man for the word Jiva. Jiva means basically, when Atman comes in this 5 Panchamahabhutas, body, mind, intellect, that becomes a Jiva. That is a Jiva. When the sensuous goes away, that Jiva goes away. So that's what we're talking about. So Jiva is not an island, but instead an integral part of the whole Brahman. Jiva Buddhyatva Daushaka. Now, the ideas of individuality and personal freedom are important, don't misunderstand me. But they must not go beyond a certain limit. In the family of 4, we live in the Western world, so everything is spacious. Each member has his room and her room. But if everybody eats food separately, at their time they want to eat it. They maintain their own finances, don't share the money when needed. Somebody may have more expenses, but you don't want to share it. and there is no interaction within the family members, then that family lifestyle, a wise person would call it as dysfunctional. In addition to having adequate time and opportunities for maintaining the spirit of individuality and personal freedom, one must have the family members as a group pray together, have open and frank discussion during the meals, keeping the iPhones and digital devices away from you at least certain time of the day, and family discussing together, certainly at mealtime. And that allows you to create a good self-esteem, good self-image, creates a loving and supporting family, which is in harmony and happiness. The reason why I got this newspaper, there's an article here, Teens Happier Pre-Phone. Basically they're feeling low self-esteem and they're feeling lonely. So it's very important. It's nothing that they should not have, but as a parent we have responsibility to make sure there are certain rules and regulations and not too early in the game. Till the time they have some kind of sense as to the relationship between the parents and the family, so that total strangers don't do the brainwashing and create more problems. So again, it's important that these all technologies are good, but it has to maintain the family togetherness. And if you don't have these children of your own, for me, all these children come to the school are my children. I mean, over a period of last, we've been here in town for 46 years, and how many people we had a chance to interact with. So this is the family. We came here less than 100 people, 72 when we came in a town. There are 35,000 people in the community in Twin Cities itself. For us, the same is a family. So basically, the word Ganapati has a cosmological connotation as well. The Vedic cosmology, there is no creation. Sorry to tell you that. There is only manifestation. Maya Shakti is the manifesting power of the Lord. And that is called, Lord is also avyakta, that is unmanifest. It manifests as the Mahat, the universal intelligence, which manifests as the Ahankara or universal ego. The latter manifests as 5 subtle elements, which in their turn manifest as 5 gross elements. We talked about Prithvi, Ap, Tej, etc. This group of the basic building blocks of the universe have originated from the Lord and exist only in God. And hence the Lord is appropriately called Ganapati. He is the master of all the groups. The next word is Tameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. Tvameva tava eva, tvam eva pratyaksham tattvam asi. You alone, tvam eva, are the reality manifest before us as the universe. Pratyaksham is whatever is in the universe. And you are nothing different, you are exactly the same. Tattvam means reality. What appears real to the senses and mind may not be real. Reality is defined as an existence that is not affected or influenced by time. Reality is defined as an existence, from the dictionary, that is not affected or influenced by time. It means it cannot be negated in any of the time periods, the past, present and future. Trikala badhita, three times cannot be. That means no. Since we have finite existence, this is not real. Since we don't have a past and we don't have the future, we are the only present. Obviously, we are not the real thing. Now, Part is only clay. Clay alone, operating in a particular spatial configuration for a certain length of time, is viewed as part. Hence, the part is considered as unreal or mithya. To reference that part, only clay is real. Same thing for gold and all the ornaments that you have. The question that comes is that if this is not real, not a reality, why should we be bothering about the things in the life that we do? I'm glad you asked that question. The reason for that is that here is an opportunity to regain the memory as to who we really are. God has given us the special faculty of logical thinking, learning, and advancing, progressing. Your capacity to ask questions, capacity to put those answers in your life, and continue your education. And of course, through the life cycles, you can start where you left off in the last life. Purva Abhyasena, 6th chapter, 43rd verse. You can continue in the next life. So basically, that's what we are able to do. You also have to treat everybody that is created and the creation with equal respect. For example, this may not be alive, but you treat it with respect. Because the first verse of the first mantra of the shortest Upanishad called Ishavasya Upanishad. This was 14. Ishavasya is 11. Ishavasya sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. This world is permeated by nothing but Ishvara. So when you consider that, how can you treat anything with disrespect? So this is something you have to remember in that way. So as long as you are here, you do the best you can. In the dream state, if tiger is chasing you, how do you know it's dream? Because when you wake up, or wife wakes you up because you're screaming, then you realize it was a dream and you don't worry about it. But the dream, the tiger was chasing me. So I was running like mad. My blood pressure was up, my pulse rate was fast, my skin was moist and wet. What I'm trying to say is that you have to act the best way you can in whatever state you are. So even if it may be a Maya, it's important to do the best you possibly can. But at the same time, every thought process, every word that you express, and every action you perform will be exactly the same as the divinity itself, because you know who you really are. I'm going to stop at this particular stage.